Hello, folks! Welcome to Live from the Compound, your one-stop shop for all things nerds and now combat robots, located in good old Whaling City, New Bedford, Massachusetts, and we really do have a treat for you this evening as I post the link in the Nhrl's Discord, which I probably should have done to begin with. Not only are you joining me instead of cameraman Jim, and I mean that should be a treat in and of itself. I am here with Corey, the pilot of Synthesis and Catalyst.
No, Synthesis 30.
It's now Synthesis 30.
Yeah, it looks like my 3-pounder, so.
Okay, so we have Craig of Money Shot fame, and for the first time ever on the compound, a huge thank you for joining us. Coming in remote, we have none other than Chainsaw Kitty. Ooh, look at this, folks, dialing in. We're going old school with the Discord overlord, Rob Style. And I don't know why Discord won't let me paste this link. It hates me. It is what it is. But I'm just going to put we are live, and we are going to move on. So we all are very familiar here with Money Shot, with Craig. We turn around, we love him, we push him, we want to see him kill things. Corey, this is your second time with us. We're really excited to have you and talk about Hotbot Summer. But for the first time ever, Chainsaw Kitty, digitally in-house. She's here in spirit and in Discord video chat. You guys are out there. You all get to watch her. Now, Chainsaw Kitty is one of, in my opinion, this was outside of you because I love the Money Shot. The first bot that really caught my attention, not only because of the merits of the robot and how well the robot was doing, but just the personality of Kitty and her team. It's in wins and losses, there are smiles, everyone's excited. Like, that should be the spirit of building and competition. So I became a fan almost instantly right out the gate. Out of all the bots I've seen, that was the spirit that really imprinted on me. But what I didn't know is you're relatively new to the scene. Mm-hmm. So do you want to talk a little bit about what inspired you to build Chainsaw Kitty and compete, and then talk a little bit about your first event building you up to today?
Mm-hmm. So I grew up as a kid watching the original BattleBots. I was always obsessed with it, always wanted to make one, but I was a kid. I didn't know what I was doing. And sort of when the reboot of BattleBots came back, I started getting obsessed with it again. But those are expensive, and I can't do that. I forget exactly how it happened, but at some point I learned that Nhrl existed, and these much smaller bots are a lot more affordable than 250-pounders. And once it clicked in my head that I could probably afford to do this, I immediately became obsessed with the idea and just grinded on learning CAD, all the electronics that go into it, all these mechanical engineering concepts that I really didn't know before I got into it. And I spent about 6 months learning all of that and designing Kitty before she was together for her first event in last November.
Was Kitty your first robot?
Yes. Yeah, I had never built a robot before Kitty.
That's an impressive first robot.
Thank you. And she really hasn't changed much since then. A couple small tweaks here and there, but it's really mostly the same robot.
That's great. I'm fairly certain I was at your first event, and I remember hearing Chainsaw Kitty's fight, and I was like, that sounds like an interesting bot. It's either walking over to the cage, I was like, this is either going to be another meme bot, like a bot that's just kind of there for the show, or it's going to be some sleeper bot. And I think the fight started as I was walking over to it, and you just hear it rev up, and you're like, holy shit, this is the real deal. And I had no idea it was gonna. I had no idea it was your first. It was my first time even attending the event, and that was my first impression of Chainsaw Kitty.
Yeah, the first event went pretty well. It went 3-2. I caused Crashfest his first ever knockout, so that was kind of crazy. Smashed a light off the ceiling in my 4th fight of the day.
So we have a question for you, Kitty, in the chat.
Sure.
Kezia, how do you keep the wheels from getting destroyed? The record of 0 wheel losses is crazy, seeing some of the shots it's survived.
So I have one kitty right here to be great for this. So the wheels, there are these thick TPU mounts. They're really just like a solid block. And I wish I had all the parts with me, but there's a 1/4-inch shoulder bolt running through that into a insert screwed in from the other side. And then the wheels are just TPU, so they're pretty squishy. They take impacts really well. When somebody hits them, they really just kind of chunk them, which you can kind of see on this one, which fought Spartan. So they kind of come apart, but they don't come off, and it still works as a wheel, even if it isn't quite circular anymore. But yeah, TPU on a shoulder bolt into more TPU, it's very shock absorbing.
Nice.
I have to make some TPU wheels.
Yeah, no, they're great. I just switched the mini bot over to custom TPU wheels as well, and that didn't lose a wheel either, despite taking a direct hit from Kitty at one point. My mistake.
I do believe we were watching that on the ride home. Was that one of the ones that we caught?
I didn't ride home with you, so I don't know what you were watching. I was there. I watched it live.
Yeah, I know. I think that was one of the ones we saw live.
It was
when we
the
were- not live,
Yes
when we were
Chef
driving
fight.
back. Yeah, no, I think
I got
that
a
was
little
one-
ahead of myself and just went in and I smacked the mini right on the wheel.
I feel like those are the pros and cons of mini bots. So many times you just watch someone smack their own mini bot across it, and like just as a spectator, I'm in my head. I'm like, mini bot, get out of the way.
We're usually really good at dancing around each other. That one was 100% on me. Sometimes you see an opening and you just go for it, not even thinking about anything else.
So it's just TPU, no casting. Also, how's the gearing from the wheel, hub, shoulder bolt to the drive motor?
So there is casting. It is, sorry, I should have, it is a TPU hub with urethane molded around it. There's a little mold. I put the hub in there, pour in some Vitaflex 30, let those cure. And the other question was about the drive, I believe. So this is running a little brushless motor right here. These are the ones Seth Schaefer sells on the Just Cause Robotics site. It has this little, oh god, trying to get this on camera. This little pinion gear here, which Seth also sells, that directly goes to the rear wheel, which has a printed carbon fiber nylon pulley. That's about a 1-to-4 gear ratio. And then it's not on the bot right now, but there are also round belt pulleys here, which get the power to the front wheels as well.
It's a mean little bot.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I took some inspiration off both your bot and Seth Schaefer's bot, because I have almost the exact same setup, just with 2-wheel drive. And then
No, I took a lot of inspiration off of Division. It really shows in the design. I'm not ashamed to admit it. It really was based on Division.
So, does Chainsaw Kitty need the mini bot for weight or for fun?
Initially I didn't need it for the weight bonus. This past event, I extended the chassis about 1/2 inch so I could fit larger batteries. So now she's about 2 ounces over 3 pounds, I believe. So, I don't need it. I could probably get her back down to 3 pounds if I didn't have the mini, but the mini was really just, I wanted something for Ryan to drive, and it's turned out to be really fun. He really enjoys it, and he really sets me up for great opportunities all the time. It's a really great strategic
I was gonna
advantage for
say,
us.
I feel like your mini bot is one of the few that are really effective. I always see your mini bot underneath other people all the time.
He's gotten really good at it, and I think I've finally gotten it to a point where it doesn't randomly die. So, yeah, it's been going pretty well.
Nice. So, out of everyone in the room, our real vet is Corey here. Now Corey, you've qualified for the November grand tournament, if you will, in both categories.
Yeah, last event I qualified with my 30 pounder, and 2 events prior I qualified with my 3 pounder. Great, just a nice run. Luck of the draw, basically. The bot was working well. The funny part was, when I debuted this robot, it got knocked out in 20 seconds, and then my 3 pounder went to come in 3rd place. This last event, my 3 pounder got knocked out in 30 seconds, and then this qualified to 3rd, 4th place, depending. The other Kablooey Tango wasn't really in a good spot either, but 4th place. So when one robot's doing well, the other robot's not, and then vice versa.
Well, hopefully you sort that out for November.
I mean, there's small things. The 3 pounder likes to face plant. I've got some options to fix that. And the 30 pounder likes to burn its drive up. I could put a hamburger on there and cook some up. I got new drive motors though for it, so outside of that, it shouldn't defeat itself.
So it's safe to assume we're going to see all 3 bots in September. As you know, Corey, whereas you're already qualified, what is the value other than experience in continuing to compete throughout the season?
So the previous event prior to this, the one right before this past one, I fought Silent X, not Silent Spring. I have a little wedge that leads up to the weapon. He was hitting it and actually bending it in. So going into this last event, I changed the material from 4130 steel to AR 500 steel, so it's less likely to bend. It's more of just taking the small things that failed and making them better, so you can kind of iterate. But I'm not really looking to try to qualify again. I'm more trying to focus on the issues. If I can go in with an issue, I fix that issue, okay, that's a win. That's ultimately what I was shooting for. So next event, I'm going to shoot for not burning up my drive motors on this robot. And for my Beetle, I'm going to shoot for not getting stuck on the face. If I succeed in both of those aspects, then I'll call that a win, and I'll feel more prepared for finals.
So, Chainsaw, did this event qualify you for the November event?
It did not, unfortunately.
did you
That last fight against Spartan would have been a qualification. This is the second time I've gotten a 5th place finish and lost on the qualifying match.
It's got to be frustrating being right there every single time.
It kind of is, and I've gotten unlucky both times. The first time I almost qualified was against Droopy, which is kind of a world champion bot. That's a scary one, and as I know some people have seen the pictures, but I pierced his bottom titanium plate and actually hit his battery. I cut into 2 of the cells of the battery, and somehow it didn't catch fire.
Yeah, that's just straight unlucky.
It's straight unlucky. And then this last one against Johnny Supas and Spartan, 5 seconds into the fight, he kind of grazes my mini bot. It goes sharp fork first right into my wheel, gets stuck in there. I'm trying to get it out, and he gets my rear wheel because I just can't maneuver because Minibot happened to fly directly into my wheel. So I've had some bad luck both of these times.
Yeah, that's
I'm so close.
Well, going into this, Craig, obviously you're the newest to combat robots out of everyone here. You were coming in on some, a questionable performance. You made some major adjustments and putting on a titanium front. You removed your forks altogether, and I think you would come to terms with the fact that you were going to let the titanium protect you, and you were going to let your driving skill do the talking.
Something like that.
And you get into your first match of the day. You would have 3 matches on the day. Unlike in every other showing, you always had a forfeiture. This time, everybody showed up. Your first match, you blew somebody up.
Exploded.
That was impressive. Your second match, you showed that even the battle box is not safe from money shot, as you took out a lamp, and you sent the prince home, and they I think you. It's upsetting because people get into this and they're doing well. They get into the tournament. They're going through their paces. It's kind of painful to watch someone walk into a loss, be demoralized, and then just disappear. And that's kind of what happened with Prince. Before we even got back up, they were already packed up and gone.
No, they were actually still there.
Were they?
Yeah, they were still there.
Okay, I feel better about that then.
They packed up their capes. I don't know who Mark was looking at, but he was looking at the wrong people.
Okay, so that makes me feel better. Then you went into your third match with a horizontal spinner. You have an electronical malfunction. Pretty much first impact.
Yep, first impact.
And then proceeded to show that you can dance for 3 minutes with an already qualified horizontal spinner and come out of there, and your bot really wasn't wrecked per se.
Oh, it was wrecked.
No, you were still moving. You were still moving.
Yeah.
You gotta give yourself a little bit of something.
I was still. I had one wheel.
Yeah, you only needed one. You were still moving around.
I was wrecked.
Asmos Junk is asking, did you ever figure out the fault? Have you tested the electronics?
For Money Shot's fault? No, I haven't had time to actually plug it in yet. I think my motor's toast. But I haven't plugged it in yet to find out. So it could have been one of them things where I just, lost connection or something. The guy I went up against, he seems to think that maybe if I would have restarted my transmitter mid-match, maybe it would have came back. I've never had that problem, and I'm not a fan of sitting in one spot for 5 seconds while someone's trying to kill you. So
Yeah.
it's one of those things where you don't really think of, but I don't know yet. Eventually I'm gonna plug it in, and I'm gonna find out.
So Plaw
If something
1701
broken
does say solid showing from Money Shot. You should be proud.
That's Patty Buckets. Thanks, man.
But so Kitty, you had multiple matches on the day. See, Corey was in the, I'm already, loud and in charge and proud and all this other stuff. So he got to sit on his ass for half of the day, waiting for matches. Craig was out there trying to show that titanium is actually viable. You were getting run through the gamut all day long. So,
Yep.
why don't
Kitty
you,
had 6 fights. I went 4-2 for the day.
Oh wow.
so why don't you walk us through some of those fights and some of the memorable moments for you as a pilot and just the overall experience of that?
Yeah. I had some interesting matches this time. So my very first one was against Supreme Ruler, which is sort of this control bot, gets under you, lifts you up. He has a little mini bot that comes in and tortures you with a flamethrower. And I was feeling pretty good going into that. We had a good strategy. And then I put the mini bot in the box. I go to turn it on. The little finger text switch is just a little screw that connects to copper contacts. I go to tighten that to turn the bot on. Screw snaps. I have no mini bot for that fight. And my strategy for that was very reliant on having the mini bot. So without that fight didn't go as well as I would have liked. It made it the full 3 minutes, but I lost the JD. So that sort of messed with my tournament because that's my one qualifier and decides my seed for the whole tournament.
Mm-hmm.
After that, I pulled Pickle Rick, which I'm told isn't the actual Pickle Rick. The actual Pickle Rick wasn't working, so they put another bot in and called it Pickle Rick. It's just like a Weta kit. That was pretty smooth. That bot didn't seem to be working properly right off the bat, so that went well. Went into Hurt Caboose, which hasn't competed since I think like 2021. I think it was unranked coming back into this. And that one really caught me off guard. I wasn't ready for just how much that thing was going to kick my ass. And it honestly kind of did. But somehow in the chaos and all the flipping, I smashed through his whole top plate, shattered the whole thing, and his power switch was free. And eventually the power switch completely came off. But before that happened, he was dominating me. My drive was entirely dead. I'm just revving the weapon to flop around and try to hit him the best I can. And I get counted out. But the ref didn't notice that he had no switch. He was completely dead. And we pointed that out. It gets turned into a double knockout, which goes to the judges. And somehow I won that judge's decision. I don't know how that happened, but I'll take it.
So we have a question. It says, are you using the 12x12 FT or the other chunkier one? Apparently the 3/16 does that frequently if it got hit nearby the switch location in a previous match.
I'm not sure the exact size. 12x12, like 12 millimeters? That's probably vaguely 12 millimeters, that little guy right there.
Yeah, it looks about right.
I'm not sure exactly which one that is.
We're just gonna say
Yeah,
that's why.
Yeah, we're going to go with yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, after that first fight, we just like kept a second one in the back pocket, like just in case. Yeah, next fight was against Caldera. I did pretty well there, and they eventually tapped, took out the weapon, totally tore the thing up. That one felt really good. Yes Chef was afterwards. That one also went very well. I got a knockout on that one. And
Yes,
then
Chef
Spartan.
was actually doing really good through the tournament.
Yeah, I was a little worried going into it. Beater bars and drums generally have a pretty good time against large verts. Just the geometry difference and the just speed of the weapon tends to beat us weapon to weapon. But it worked out. And then that one put me into a qualifying match against Spartan. And that was unlucky. I was just unlucky how the minibot immediately got stuck and just kind of... It all went downhill from there. I lost a drive side, and then I can barely move. And eventually I miss lining up a weapon on weapon. He hits me on this wedge, goes up the wedge, and right into my weapon motor. Immediately killing my weapon, obviously. At that point, it was just
Have you thought about
What was
putting
that?
like some sort of protection around the motor?
I'm probably going to, for a future horizontal configuration, or at least a little bit of like a wall. Just a little bit of a wall right here on that one side would really help. It's never happens, and if I didn't miss the weapon on weapon, then I probably wouldn't have, but...
Yeah.
It's the first time I've lost a weapon motor. It's not technically the first time I've lost a weapon motor to a hit, but it's the first time my weapon has initially gone down from getting hit on the weapon motor. Everybody tries to hit it, but it's only happened once now.
Well, that's, I mean, equal parts good bot, equal parts good pilot. To prevent the hit from taking it out. You know, it is one of the biggest takeaways I can take away from Money Shot's performance in this event. Is in 3 fights, your control of your bot showed great improvement.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you were always able to keep everything in front of you, and I think that was kind of the running conversation going into this. You know, keep everything in front of you and dictate the exchanges. And, you know, that was like your best opportunity for success. And, I mean, those first 2 fights, you know, you were on point. The third fight, it was just, you were unlucky. I really believe that fight was your fight to win. Especially after watching you go 3 minutes with a qualified bot and being able to come out of that. You know,
That's true.
which was quite impressive.
There is a lot of luck in this sport. A random ESC can die at any time.
Yep. I think I was talking. Was I talking to you about that? I forget. I was talking to someone about that when you see a bot just beating up on someone, and then they just die,
Zach,
and
can
the
you
other
go
person
now? She's
just
got dinner ready.
wins out of nowhere. But talking about luck, what about Corey getting picked up and dropped right on top of the guy's own bot?
All right, so I don't want to talk about my 3-pounder. That was a short 30-second match. This guy, this was the bot I was mainly focused on trying to qualify. The Beetle was already qualified. I was only trying to iterate on a very small amounts. But this guy, so my first match was against Red Storm, which is mini Claw Viper from BattleBots. We box rush towards each other. He corrects his drive, and I was able to hit him on the side, and I sent him into the wall. Unluckily, I didn't counter on it and hit him while he was stuck, and then we went nose to nose. My drive burnt out, and I lost the match. The second match was against I forget the name. It was a turret flamethrower robot that it lost against Vorion previously, so it just bowed out. The match that sealed the deal to qualify was against Fracas. So that was a fun match. So he's a control bot, wide bot, just about as wide as Synthesis 30. He has a lower arm and a top arm. The idea is he gets the lower arm underneath you. The top arm will come down, and then he has one mechanism where it'll lower the arm, and then the arm will continue to raise up to suplex over him. So we're going at it nose to nose. I'm really trying to baby my drive because I don't want it to burn out. So he's able to get me against the wall. So he's to the left side. So he clamps down.
Mm-hmm.
And he starts to raise it a little bit. And I don't know if he was hesitant or what, but this bot has such a wide reach forward. It's 12.5 inches in diameter. So as I was coming over, my disc actually came in contact with the left side of his top plate and the back, and it just started chewing through his robot. It hit his drive motor, ripped it out of the gearbox, and it was sad after. One of the two main issues that I was trying to correct with this robot was the robot, when it's on its back, my 3-pounder can drive backwards and it will pop over. This robot can successfully do that every time, and the spin up on the weapon originally was 10 seconds. Now I've cut it down to 2 seconds. So as soon as I was back on the wheels, I was able to get the 8.5-pound disc spinning up and ready to go in. He tapped out, and I moved on to the semifinals against Polyester. That was a fun match. Sadly, my drive burnt out. Initially, I was focusing on Poly because my mini-bot driver wanted to focus on Esther, which was an undercutter. The crazy part was the Crash Fest, being 3 pounds, rammed itself into the undercutter. The undercutter flipped upside down. Crash Fest flew to the other end of the arena and got its forks embedded into the wall. So now, for a moment, it's just me against Polyester. We're going nose to nose, and then Esther starts to come over. So I just turn and I just chuck Esther away for a moment. Then I lock horns with Polly, but again, a pushing match. The motors burn out. My weapon never stops, but I'm dead in the water. But overall, outside of the drive burning out, I was super happy with the robot, and I feel like the robot beat itself rather than necessarily beat by the other opponents, but they won. So
Yeah,
I say that every time he fights. It's usually him beating himself more so than the opponent. Now, folks, in the chat, I'm getting the questions. What are the giveaways? For those of you who are coming, obviously, this is a new type of content that we're developing and trying to bring to the compound. The compound generally exists as a collaborative that all revolves around gaming of some type, from Dungeons and Dragons and trading cards to video games and tabletop games. Here at the compound, we have many sponsors, and we like to give things away to our audience to show our token of appreciation every stream. As you can see in the chat, This week just so happens to be our Stand Up to Cancer 2023 annual week-long charity drive. We have very lofty goals. So I believe we're at 1,222 raised so far this week. If we reach 1,350 between this stream and the Nhrl news that will follow, we will what they call release the Kraken. So this is a in-house created Kraken dice tray. Sorry, woo! We're up there. Yeah, it should be there. So this is a Kraken dice tray. Everyone here likes to see me get ribbed on. So if you'd like to see me cry a little bit, at $1,400 raised, I will give away the infamous Sega Genesis Mini 2. Yes, this is from China. These are the only place you can get this thing. And if you really want to see me cry live on stream, just because my folks love to make me do that, we have a Nintendo Mini Classic. This is an official Nintendo Mini Classic, which my co-host on the Nhrl News has been trying to get it from me for a long time. At $1,500, we'll be giving away my Nintendo Mini Classic. So, if you want my things and you want to make me cry, that's how you do it. You donate for cancer, and I'll give you all kinds of stuffs. Everybody, the stream will go from one to the next, so get your exclamation point ticket in. If we achieve any of those 3 milestones before the culmination of both streams, you will have automatically been put in. We'll do the drawing at the end of the Nhrl News, and we will contact the winner or winners of anything that you spite me and try to take away from me. As I can see, Tabletop Games, the store, is inside the chat. He is one of my co-hosts on Saturday. You son of a bitch. It better not be you who pushes us to $1,500, you bastard. Enough with the distraction. We will get back into kind of the thick of it all. Now, going into my experience, obviously I've been a huge fan of BattleBots forever and a day. Always wanted to build one. However, time is the most precious commodity, and with a granddaughter, I just don't have that luxury. So I live vicariously through Craig, and I bring his fan club. So we are all your cheerleaders. I know about your fan club. Now, Corey, I know you're part of a small group, a culmination, a team, if you will.
Team Pandemonium and Team Spartan. We kind of collab together, so we call our Team Standemonium.
Now, Kitty, you come into every event and you have a team. So you have a mini-bot pilot and I guess like a social media photographer, kind of documentarian.
More or less, yeah.
That you bring every time. Do you want to talk a little bit about them? How the three of you came together on the journey, or was that something that was there from the very beginning?
So my midi-bot pilot, that's Ryan. He's my boyfriend. We've been together for like 3 years now. So he's been around since before the robots were a thing.
Nice.
Dakota's the one with the camera all the time. She came around a little after the robotics things, but she dove right into it the moment she was introduced to it. So do the other people that have come on a couple other events. They're all just online friends. Sleepy Anime Girl Club existed before I was any part of robotics. It was initially just a bunch of online friends, mostly like an ASL community, just kind of a cozy place for my online friends, and then I turned it into a robotics team. So now I've bidden everybody else with the bug, and a few of them are also building robots.
Nice.
That'd be awful.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm just saying, couples who destroy things and combat robots together stay together. Like that's just a thing.
Get the anger out in the arena, so it's not at home.
Yeah, I mean,
My girlfriend,
you sure that the mini bot getting you versus Spartan wasn't a little insider?
No, he's not like that.
So I keep trying to get my girlfriend to build one. She's like, well, if you build me one, and I was like, you'll fight it? And she's like, no. She's like, I just want to say it's mine.
She'll drive it around the kitchen.
She just wants to name it. I'm like, well, you got to pick what kind of design you want. She's like, well, it's got to be something that's like out of the ordinary and backwards. And I was like, well, what do you want to name it? And the name's gonna be a good one. It's gonna be Lrigwoc, which is Lrigwoc.
Oh my God! Reverse cowgirl. Are you kidding me?
It's her bot, not mine.
Unbelievable. So we have a really good question here in the chat, which was something I was curious about. As you can see, folks, behind me, this is actually the image that's on Kitty. Do you have any merch available? Are you selling online merch, doing stickers or what have you? We're fortunate, as you see here with the compound shirts, as Craig has with the Money Shot. My son is Studio 307. He handles all of our personal merchandising. What do you have any merch? And if so, how can someone find that?
We're currently working on putting together some merch. We haven't really announced it publicly yet. It's not fully put together. But we're hoping to have something together well before the end of this year.
Nice.
I would love to have some too.
I finally picked up my Sleepy Anime Girls Club sticker on my way out of Nhrl. I completely missed the sticker table that's all the way in the back. And as I was putting my stuff on the elevator, I was like, well, here's all the stickers, and I just started grabbing.
Oh, I always put a ton of ours there. Yeah, we have plenty of stickers. I keep meaning to put them in the Nhrl merch store next to everybody else's stickers. I'm gonna finally do that in September. But if you ever find me in the pits, they're free.
Sweet.
Oh, awesome. I mean, I know that you come with all the merch.
I have an entire box that says free money, and no one comes up to me. So
And I think you're an approachable person.
So I've had people call me intimidating, and I'm like, if you yell at me, I'm probably gonna cry. But I got my stickers. I keep forgetting to put them on the table, mainly because I didn't know where the table was. But now I know where it is, so I'll put my stickers on the table again. I think I put them on for one event with my $100 bills.
I have one of those.
Do you really?
Yeah. I got a pile of
of
stickers over there somewhere.
That was the first robot design, and I probably still have like $2,000 worth of them things.
Too much. So, audience, if you have any questions for any of our builders or pilots, I'm trying to field these as best I can, but they are definitely here to take questions. So one of our chatters is on the West Coast, so I'll have to bug Calvin and Tommy to snag one for me.
Tommy definitely has some of my stickers.
Calvin and Tommy. Those are two robots you do not want to see yourself paired up against.
I do.
Yeah. I did it once.
I totally fight both of them as well.
Does Sleepy Anime Girl Club have a server?
Server? Yeah. Not a public one. It's just a little online friend group. We do have one. It's not technically related to the robotics team of the same name.
Invite only.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm following the chat's questions.
No. It's a good question.
So, we know over here, Craig, you've been talking about, the money roll and a couple of other different bot designs. Corey, from my understanding, you kind of redesign like almost annually.
I see an idea. I like to try and recreate it. However, with the sheer power of a very large vert, I can't go back to anything else. January, because of Norwalk, I'll play it by ear, but in January there's actually going to be a walking version of my 3-pounder, and it will spin a 2-pound bar.
Mm-hmm.
So,
It's a 3-pound bot.
Alrighty then.
5-pound bot spinning 2 pounds of weapon.
but we have to see if the rules change. But outside of that,
I hope they do.
I'll also debut a 12-pound version of this, just because I like the idea. Like, I'm also making a 1-pounder for a local Connecticut event. I like the idea that you can take a design and scale it to the different weight classes. Like, for this robot, I found that the forks on the very front, they actually work really, really well. I'm going to incorporate them into my 3-pounder because they prevent the robot from nosediving on big hits, where the feeder wedge is the main reason why, as I hit something, it torques on the edge of the wedge where the forks they stay planted. So having the spectrum of 1, 3, 12, and 30, you can iterate a lot faster, finding what works and what doesn't. So what worked on the 30 pounder, I'll iterate to the 3 pounder, but in January there'll definitely be a 12-pound version of this that I already have basically built and ready to go.
Nice. So I have a couple questions here, one from the chat, one personal. We're going to go with the chat question first. Actually, I got one for a couple of you. So, Kitty, do you have any planned modifications for your mini bot, like a wedge config, so the fork attack won't happen again?
I don't have any plans for that at the moment. I think the minibot worked great last time. The only time it ever stopped moving was the battery got unplugged at one point, so I have to zip tie that next time. The forks handled direct horizontal weapon hits with minimal bending. AR-600's incredible. I think that was just a very unfortunate thing, and I didn't handle it well because I've never had that happen before. So
Well, that's the nice
a
thing.
little bit of experience in the back pocket now.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the nice thing about this sport is, as long as you can go in, win or lose, and learn something, that's good for the future of the bot and for the pilot. Corey, are you still using 45?
No,
4S for your drive? Do you have plans for a faster drive to get better bites?
So, well, first off, Synthesis, my 3-pounder, it doesn't need any more bite. Anytime I contact something, it's going into the ceiling. Of the 9 wins I have, 8 of them are knockouts. I don't see it needing any more bite. But the Cooper brothers, who have a robot called Quantum, they actually said something in an interview that they did that stuck out really well. Everyone wants a really, really fast robot. Very zippy, very... If you can't control it, what does it matter if it's fast? Synthesis is made specifically to be on the slower side because it has that menacing feel, but Synthesis's weapon doesn't actually spin super fast, so my drive matches my weapon speed. If I can drive slower at someone, it's a lot quicker than if I'm driving past them and double backing, because it's taking a lot longer for you to get to the opponent than just driving directly at them. So I have no plans. 4S works really well for the weapon. The weapon spins at 275 miles an hour. It's 10.
That's not frightening at all.
No,
10 ounces at 8 inches. The weapon has yet to die in 11 matches, so I don't see a need. And the drive outside of the gearboxes, the pins that hold the planetaries braking, I don't see a reason to go to 6S. 4S works.
So Kitty, when we had an opportunity to chat at Hotbot Summer, you had a line of bots. Is there any super secret Kitty products in the background to create a different type of bot or a new design of a bot? Or are you pretty content with just fine-tuning what you have and trying to make it to the finals and get to the top of the food chain? Which, I do want to say, I believe is inevitable.
Well, thank you, first of all. I love Kitty. I don't want to shelf Kitty. I don't want to change Kitty more than I have to. I'm probably running out of ways I can make her too much better without a massive design change, but I really want to stick with her. We do have some other robots coming up. We should be debuting 2 or 3 bots in January. One for me, which isn't going to be super serious. Ryan's going to have a bot, and Dakota's also working on one for herself, so we have some new stuff in the works. I'm being a little quiet about it, though.
I tried being quiet about mine, and then I just tell everyone.
Yeah, well,
I get too excited. I get too excited.
Oh, I just made one modification to it. Here's what it looks like.
So, again, the chat's chiming off here. What are your September predictions, folks? Like, what do you think? What do you expect to see? How do you feel about how you're gonna perform, where you're gonna stand? Are there any bots you don't want to necessarily run into, and are there any bots you want to run face first into?
All of them.
You want to run from all of them? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm running face first at them. Yeah.
I think if you go into a match fearing that robot, you've already lost.
Yep.
Because you will attack very timidly. You will second guess every move that you make. Anytime I hear a competitor say, "Oh, I'm afraid to fight that robot," why? Any given day, it can go either direction. So you want to fight not only the best, you want to fight when your robot's at the worst. So you can see, okay, is the robot making me look good, or am I a good driver? Because at the end of the day...
Well, here at the compound, we have a mantra, and I know this doesn't... I mean, it applies to combat robotics. It kind of applies to everything in life. But, you know, we look for people to win like a champion, but also lose like a champion. You know, a lot can be said in the way that a person, you know, takes those things in the moment. Because combat robotics, for as much as it is fun to build and see and watch, there is a mental component to this as well as a physical component and the robot.
Sound is your backup weapon. Some sounds are terrifying.
But no, I mean, and honestly saying again, and you know, again, watching, you know, Chainsaw Kitty, in that first event, I again watching, like, even teams like Valkyrie, you know, come down, are very melancholy. You know, sometimes even win or lose. You have some of their pilots that get super excited, and I think that's awesome. But, you know, a lot of the schools and stuff that come down, you can almost read it on their faces as they're competing. You know, whereas when I see some people, you know, like everyone that competes here, you know, it's almost, you get in there, you know that you deserve to be there because your bots have all performed. But there's always a smile. There's always a level of excitement. Like, there's an energy to watching you compete for 3 minutes. Or in Corey's case, like 5 seconds when he hits something. But there's like a level of excitement and enthusiasm. And again, you get just as much excitement on laying a hit as you do on taking a hit and driving away from it. It's the one thing about the one criticism I have about the NHRL that I wish more people would take away and more people would watch from, you know, the compound team that goes up there, is NHRL is a sport. Combat robotics is a sport. It is legitimate. You know, when you have a group of fans, or when you have people there in the stadium, and you're watching all this, and the pilot is showing enthusiasm and excitement, I really wish, like, the crowds would relay that excitement and become infected by it. You know, like I had money shot chants going all day on Saturday, and it's like, no, like, you know, and even in your last match, in winning and in losing, you had the rally of the crowd, you know, yelling money shot. We had red jumpsuit guy right in there with us. You know, the hype train was there. You know, I think that's awesome. And it's one thing I can say about coming with, you know, my team, Mark McKinley and cameraman Jim. It doesn't matter who's fighting. Like, they'll get up, they'll pick somebody, and they'll just stand there and they'll hype them and root them. You know, and there's no rhyme or reason to who they're picking. It's either a name or it's because someone came down and really looks excited. I think that probably the most the greatest moment that I've experienced as an observer is a horrible moment for you, Craig. But watching you go against that I think it must have been like 10 or 12, and that kid was so excited and over the moon.
Oh, the fifth grader.
Yeah, like that kid was so over the moon to just be there fighting with his robot and watching his robot do stuff. Like, that's amazing. And to me, that's the spirit of combat robotics. It's that excitement, that build up. You know, I know there's always going to be that upper level of competition, but just because you want to compete on an elite level doesn't mean that you should lose the love for the robot game.
Yeah, it's exciting. Like, having a group of people to rally behind you is exciting, but having a feeling of someone that you don't even know that just watched your bot fight for the first time, and next thing you know, they're a fan. It's like, I don't know. I've never had it happen to me before until this event, and I was like, holy shit, this feels pretty good.
I have to pause. Iron Will, even though you are the ghost, you are not invisible. I was referring to the first few times that we went up. Obviously, Iron Will was a pivotal part of your fan club. He had the pom-poms. If you were looking, he had the pom-poms for the cheerleading when we had the money shot chant going. Also, he probably got some of the best phone footage.
That's true. You got some.
You know, he got some of the best phone footage for us. We love you, Will.
Next time we're gonna have to all go cage side for synthesis fights and kitty fights and start chants.
Oh, I mean, if the two of you are okay with the fan club, like,
Oh yeah.
we'll be right there. Like, win or lose.
They started money shot chants before I was even loaded in the cage. Everyone starts walking over like, what the hell's going on?
But see, this is what's gonna happen. Kitty's gonna be in there doing that thing. You guys are gonna get ready to set up, and she's like, "Okay, I'm done." The other person's in pieces. Kitty will be all right. I'm done.
Chainsaw Kitty's about to fight, and it's done.
Yeah. Kitty looked at the opponent, and the opponent just tapped out.
3, 2, 1,
No,
fight!
and like I said, I mean, Iron Will is inside the chat, so I'm not sure that Iron Will ever really intended to go up to the Nhrl. I think you rolled the dice. Obviously, we have a system for getting all of our people up there. One of our camera operator kind of carpools and bring us all. Iron Will went up the first time, which wasn't your brightest hour.
That was my worst event.
And, like, even he said it just the experience, the people, the bots. He wants to go to every event. So it's, you know, the team is growing, the fan club is growing. The more people we can carpool up there and get there from the compound, you know, we want to be a recognized part of bringing positivity to combat robotics and the NHRL. One of the things that we're working on, and it pleases me to say, we have a financial backer who wants to help us build an 8x8 box duplicating exactly what the NHRL does. So we have a budget for that project now. We're going to try to bring one of those boxes and start bringing some more of the combat robotics to New Bedford, Massachusetts.
Synthesis first money shot at the compound.
Well, this is the thing. We'd like to bring the awareness, you know, show this all off, but also grow the community and grow the amount of combatants kind of going up there. You know, we really want to see that kind of come. And alternatively, the one downside to combat robotics and 200 billion mile per hour weapons
Crash Fest wants to come too.
is
Oh yeah, Robert's a great guy.
We got a rumble, baby.
well, the 200 mile per hour weapons is finding a safe place to consistently find practice in between events. Now, obviously, you know, Corey, you have a box. We're working on building a 1-to-1 replica of what the NHRL has here for the compound. Our goal is to debut this around the holidays. Do you have any, like, is there a box out where you are? Are you finding ways to practice your piloting and your fighting skills in your off time?
Hey, is that for me?
That is for you, yes.
Yes, sorry.
I feel terrible because I keep calling you Kitty, and I forgot to ask your actual proper name.
You forgot my name? Keziah.
Keziah. Okay, so
Keziah.
Keziah.
You said it at the start of the stream.
You did.
What? Honestly, you know what?
You've spoken to me by name before.
Well, no, I said Keziah because it was in the chat. I was reading the chat directly, and it didn't register to lock. And you must pardon me. We're in Charity Week. We're working and streaming every single day, nonstop. And we started at the Nhrl event, so Wednesday my mind is mush. On Saturday I'll be
All is
completely
forgiven.
delirious. Nothing I say will make sense come Saturday.
Wait, so what was the original question?
So the original question, Keziah,
If I have
was-
a testing area.
yes.
I did have a very small, like 2-foot by 2-foot box before I moved like 4 or 5 months ago. I didn't take it with me. It's not really enough to practice driving, really just enough to turn the weapon on and make sure it works. I currently don't have any safe way to test Kitty, so I just don't test her until I get to the facility, which kind of sucks because it means I get no practice on the downtime. We'll drive him around on a piece of wood with the weapons off, just drive practice, but it's not the same without the weapon on.
Not at all. The first time I drove my weapon on, I was like, God, can't drive.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah. The gyroscopic precession is
Well,
crazy.
We had a live build of Money Shot here in the studio. We put you in the box and you destroyed the box.
Yeah.
You put your weapon through the plexi. So that was a thing. I think it was at that moment I decided no more makeshift boxes.
No.
We have to figure out a way for a proper box. And like I said, I was originally the compound was going to try to self-fund that, but after this recent success of Money Shot, we've had a few people reach out to us who really want to be a part of the ride, and they're going to financially fit the bill for this.
Now we're talking.
And I mean, quite honestly, I'd really like to do this Street Fighter or Lionheart style. Across the street from the compound is a ginormous open parking lot. We're going to throw the box in the parking lot surrounded by a bunch of cars with headlights hitting it. And we're going to do this Lionheart style. And we're going to have a ball. And yes, this will be streamed. You'll get live footage of this. I'll have someone out there with a freaking Steadicam.
Live footage of the SWAT team coming in.
You know, we may be broken up by the police. However, it'll be really entertaining until that happens. So again, there's no bot any of the three of you like just really want to come up against.
Oh, I mean, I've told Keziah I want to have a big disc off.
That'd
So
be
any big discs, just add it. It's not so much just find out who's the better. It's literally just big disc, big explosion, and
Yeah, but with the success of you two, there's a high likelihood that you're gonna meet eventually.
Oh, absolutely.
probably.
yeah.
Absolutely.
And something is going to blow up. I don't know what exactly, but there's no way both bots make it out.
No, absolutely not.
I think all parties involved would be completely okay with that.
I'm okay with
Yes.
I'm okay with seeing my robot getting chucked into the ceiling by Kitty. So
It's gonna be it'll be a double knockout, just one hit, double knockout, and then the judges will be like, "Can you do it again?"
yeah. Can either of you guys move?
So
Go upstairs, get another copy of Kitty. You ready?
Exactly.
you're all vert spinners.
Yeah.
Is there any type of bot or bot type or bot in specific that you feel is kind of a pseudo kryptonite for the vertical spinner type? Because personally, cameraman Jim hates horizontal spinners, and my interpretation is if you let a horizontal spinner hit shit enough, they're only going to break themselves anyway.
I think the advantage is verts can set up for horizontals, whereas horizontals are more limited to what they can, unless you're talking like a non-conventional droopy, which is you don't need to set it up, but you're not going to see a traditional tombstone type robot doing anything more than maybe little forks on the back or anything like that, whereas a vert can do forks, do a big plow, do different type of wedgelets. So it's the sky's the limits. I think more being a big vert, smaller drum verts have the more advantage because they can spin faster. So when we come weapon to weapon, it's a lot harder for me to win the weapon to weapon engagement. So you try and figure out different tactics to win the weapon to weapon, but ultimately, I wouldn't say a horizontal is necessarily my kryptonite. I think more the smaller drums are more kryptonite.
I will say there was a bot. I was surprised. I don't think what was it? It's Grim
Ripper.
Grim Ripper. We didn't see Grim Ripper.
No, I asked. So apparently they're a huge Halloween family in their town,
Okay.
and they start setting up their entire house and yard for Halloween in August. And I guess they devote like all their time to just setting up Halloween and doing Halloween stuff.
So, obviously we've got September. Do we know what September is being themed as of yet? I know we had Hotbot Summer, and then we had Sparky Circus.
I think there is a theme already. I forget what it is. It's
I'm not sure.
I think it's like a last chance theme.
Let's see. Nhrl. I know they already have the streams posted. Let's see. So they call in. Oh, they don't have September as well. They have no. Oh, September's just the final bot down.
Final bot down.
Final bot down. So this is
So
where
last chance.
this is where Keziah and Chainsaw Kitty will qualify for November.
I don't know.
I think Money Shot's gonna make the semis.
Money Shot's gonna get 3 wins.
No, Money Shot's
better
going.
than
Money
the
Shot's.
last.
Money Shot's
Absolutely.
going to the semis.
So that's
Corey over there is going to take Synthesis up into the point where he may have run into Keziah and Money Shot, and mysteriously he's going to disappear. This may or may not be a payoff, or we'll just get Mark to throw him and lock him in the RV. We'll do whatever we have to do, just to pave the way for the two of you to get there.
I mean, September, yeah. It's going to be tough. It's literally the last chance. So anyone and
Well,
everyone.
you don't even have to
know.
qualify. What do you
Well,
care?
so no, I'm not even talking about myself too, but in general, it's going to be the best of the best.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to be there.
They're gonna
Everyone's
be
going to try. Everyone's going to bring as many bots as they can. They're going to bring the best of the best. So if you can do well at September, not just qualify, but if you can win matches, you're going to be winning up against the best. And so September is going to be one of the proving ground days as far as, is this setup going to be what I go forward for next year?
So, if we were to remove the 3 bots here with us today from the equation, is there any other bot you would like to see really do really well in September?
I have 3 bots. Well,
You can only
I'm
pick
s-
one.
Oh,
Only one.
Okay.
Don't
so,
be greedy with your choices.
My teammate Kevin, he has a robot called IDK. He had.
Wait,
what-
is
Is that
really?
the rest of it, or is it just IDK?
IDK, WTFID. He's had really bad luck. He finally started dialing it in. I want to see him do really well. Last event he did great, but I want to see him qualify because Ariel, his fiance, the co-captains, she's qualified, so it'd be nice to see him qualify.
For me, it would actually be the Grim Ripper guys. That bot Nasty Undercutter, super unconventional shape with the shell design that he has, incredibly effective. And he was only in 2 events. Unfortunately, I'm sure he's probably not going to be at the September one either. But had he gone to this one and in the I wouldn't doubt if he ends up being a force come next year, because that thing he did some damage. He held his own against some top bots like Voxel. He took Voxel for a while, and then Voxel ended up getting one good hit on him. But I think he's gonna go far in the coming years.
Nice.
I've been rooting for Johnny Spartan. He just bested me last time to get his qualification, so I guess I don't have to root for him anymore. But I've really been watching Radix, Aiden, I'm not sure of his last name, but that bot's looking great. It's hitting really hard. It took chunks out of the house bot, one of the other events. So I've been keeping an eye on that. I think that's gonna get really scary.
It looks like a rotator. It's an undercutter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a blue and black, mostly TPU kind of undercut,
Oh,
a
right.
really
I
shiny
know-
blade.
I know which one you're talking about now. I didn't
But that
know.
bot's looking really good.
And the funny part is he's so timid. Like at one point they keep jumbling the brackets, and we have Robert Rund. He'll predict, and at one point it was me versus Radix, and he seemed terrified. So I feel the people that are the ones that underestimate their bots, are the ones that go so far. So I think he'll definitely do well.
Nice.
Pause for the dumpster.
So,
And he had a beater bar.
He did.
You did. To the dark side.
so we've hit that point where we're going to be leading in, taking just a couple minutes, and then we're going to switch right over to the Nerdly News. Before I do that, I want to give an opportunity for our guests to each let everyone know if there are any type of social media, any place we can find your bots, any way we can follow and or support you. You can do and say that now. If there are any last minute questions, you can please pop them in the chat. And if there's anything, any of you want to say about your bots and what your hopes and expectations are for September, outside of Keziah shocking the world and taking it all in September, which I am bringing the Compound Fan Club. We are going to be right there cheering every step of the way. Let's do that. So, start with you, Craig. Where can we find the Money Shot?
Best place to find.
Yes, that was done on purpose, sir.
Best place to find the Money Shot is right now. It's on Instagram at Money Shot Combat Robot. I post all my updates and stuff on there. I post a lot of stuff on my personal Facebook, but the Money Shot Instagram is the go-to right now for me.
Probably the Discord, the NHRL Discord, or my personal Facebook. I generally use social media only to post my robots.
You can find Chainsaw Kitty at Sleepy Anime Girl Club on YouTube, and I'm very active in the Nhrl Discord, and when I have more things up, like the merch store and stuff, I'll probably be announcing them there.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank everybody for coming. Keziah, thank you for dialing in and sharing kind of your experience, your knowledge, and fielding our nonsense. I
Thank you.
sincerely appreciate your time. Craig, as always, thank you for coming down. I will have to unfortunately see you, and we can both shake our heads at Peter tomorrow at work. Corey, thank you for taking the time to come out. I am your producer, director, and owner of the Compound Studio, saying thank you very much, folks. I'm going to have to get up and run to the other side of the room to push the buttons unless I can talk Zach to push the buttons. Zach, if you take a look on the stream deck, which is right underneath the multi-view,
Just slap
there's
it.
one that says outro. Hold on. Folks, thank you for watching. Hope to see you soon. We'll be bringing more NHRL-based content. I'm also going to be doing some investing into some electronics components, so that way in future shows, our giveaways will be more geared towards combat robots, and we'll be giving those types of things away to our audience via Streamlabs. So thank you very much, folks. We will catch you next time.